We did have this game last night. It was the first of many. We're starting to see so many more streaming services pick up sports. How do we believe this ultimately is going to change the game? And maybe are we now finally at an inflection point, Tom, where some of the biggest games can actually go on streaming? I mean, I think part of the issue has been always that the big leagues always felt we need eyeballs. We want the biggest number of eyeballs. We can't totally put the best stuff on streaming. Are we at the point where we can put the best stuff on streaming?
Well, good morning. Thanks for having me, Andrew. I think the answer, based on last night, from a production point of view, is yes. I mean, Amazon's a logistics company and a cloud company. A lot of logistics, putting on a live production of an NFL broadcast, obviously streaming that nationwide, a lot of cloud and server issues. But the question was, were they going to stumble the way Apple did when it came out with the Major League Baseball? And I think they put on a first-rate production, very credible, showed that streamers can produce with the best of them. Yes, there were some complaints. My video quality was great. The audio mixing needed a little help, given how loud the stadium noise was at Arrowhead. But overall, I think they did a great job and increased the credibility for more broadcast, more parts of major packages from the big leagues going to streaming. We don't have the ratings number yet. As you said, that's going to be a big thing for any of the leagues to look at. What kind of fall off is there in audience? Amazon was saying that they think they'll do an average of about 12 million on Thursday night compared to Fox last year, when it had the package doing about 16 million. So clearly they're expecting some fall off. We have some numbers from my company on Twitch, where it was streamed, where you pick up a lot of young viewing. And on Twitch, they almost did twice what the average was for Thursday night football viewing on Twitch last year. So came out of the gate strong there. And they weren't even really promoting the alternative feed, the one with Dude Perfect, an influencer providing commentary on a whole different basis than the traditional broadcast. And I think with promotion of that, the Twitch young viewing audience will grow considerably.
Hey, Sarah, when you think about the ratings, and obviously we don't know them yet in this regard, but when you think about the packages and how much these networks are willing to pay, especially over the last the past several decades, the numbers have gone up and up and up. But in the last 5 or 6 years, because of streaming and everybody chasing Netflix, there's been a view that people will spend remarkable amounts of money. We now are living through this sort of Netflix correction, right? And we're sort of seeing that across the board. Does that change the dynamic with which you think the pricing for some of these sports packages are going to go?
I think the sports rights packages are just going to continue to get higher. And one of the reasons being is because sports is still the last thing that's really keeping the cable bundle alive. And as a result, they're the most lucrative type of content that you can put on live TV. And so if they become lucrative for live in cable, then they're going to continue to be lucrative for the streamers. You take a look at what Amazon paid, over $1 billion for the Thursday night football rights. Like, that's unprecedented, and it's only going to continue to get higher. I also think, to Tom's point, you have a new dynamic when it comes to how you're going to market these things. You know, I was pretty impressed by the fact that Amazon was putting those Thursday night football logos on some of the boxes it was sending out to customers. And so when you talk about the transition and the drop off onto streaming, yes, I think initially you're going to get some drop off because people don't know maybe how to access Amazon. People in places that don't have access to high speed broadband maybe aren't subscribed. But eventually there's actually going to be a lot more mechanisms, in my opinion, to start to lure viewers over to the program, whether it's through very inventive things that Amazon can do on digital that traditional networks could not, or inventive things that they could do as an e-commerce company that a traditional network could not. So I wouldn't expect that drop-off to be a permanent thing. And if the drop-off isn't permanent, right, and if the viewers keep going up, well, then, of course, those sports right packages are going to continue to go up as well.